Hello everyone, welcome again to Thursday Tidbits. This is episode 5, I think, 4 or 5. Excited, I've got a lot to share with you today. One specific topic that I wanted to talk about that will be a big help and give you some really neat ideas to help with your reharmonization. So today we are going to be talking about tritones. So tritones, what are they? What are some things we need to know about them? And how can I use them to reharmonize my songs? So we're going to go through all of that. Then I'll have some announcements for you at the end, so you want to stay tuned for that. And I'll also play a closer, one verse of a closing hymn, reharmonized. So stay tuned to watch all that. So tritones, let's get started with that. So what are tritones? Well, let me turn around and show you some things here. So you may be familiar with the names of the different intervals. So you've got a perfect fourth would be from C to F, for instance, or D to G, or F to B flat. Perfect fourth, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a fourth. A perfect fifth is one step greater than that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's a fifth, perfect fifth. So fourth, fifth, right in between those two is a tritone. Kind of has a weird sound to it, but it is super, super cool, and hopefully you'll see that by the end of our segment today. So that's what a tritone is. It's 1/2 step greater than a perfect fourth, 1/2 step below a perfect fifth. It's also called an augmented fourth for that reason, because you're adding to the fourth. It's also called a diminished fifth. You're subtracting from the fifth, but quick name is just tritone. So that's what a tritone is. Let me talk to you a little bit about them and some really neat things about tritones. So here's what's really, really cool about a tritone. A tritone is the farthest distance that you can be away from any given note. So on, let's say I pick C. What is the farthest note I can be away from C? Well, if you do the math and figure it out, you'll discover that it is indeed F sharp, the tritone, because if you go any farther up, you're now closer to this C up here. But the farthest away that you can get is this note. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 half steps away. And then if I start here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 half steps away. So that tritone is actually exactly halfway between the C. So halfway between any given note and the note an octave above it or an octave below it, halfway between that is the tritone. So same thing with the C there. If I start, that is exactly halfway between my C's. So that is something really, really, that's just really cool. I'm a math guy, so I like things like that. But that property of tritones allows us to do some things with them that make for some really awesome reharmonization. And we'll talk about that here in a minute. So let me talk to you a little bit. Let me show you one more thing about tritones before we get to the reharmonization. So let's play a 7th chord. Let's do a D7 chord. So if I'm playing D7, I've got D, F sharp, A, C. You want to pay close attention to the 3rd of that chord and the 7th of that chord. These are kind of the notes that give the chord its quality, its specific sound. Obviously, if I just say D chord, well, there's lots of D chords. I can play a D, I can play a D minor, I can play a D augmented, I can play a D diminished, I can play a D7, D minor 7. What specifically gives that chord its quality is the 3rd and the 7th. The A is, the 5th of the chord is there, and it adds a little bit, but what really makes that chord stick out and what makes each chord unique, specifically those 7th chords, are the 3rd and the 7th. All right, so pay close attention to those. So if I'm playing a D chord, a D7 chord, my 3rd of the chord is the F sharp, my 7th of the chord is the C. All right, so I've got D. What if I go to the chord, the 7th chord, that is a tritone away from D? So perfect 5th would be here, or perfect 4th would be here, 5th would be here, in the middle would be this. So A flat is a tritone away from D. So tritone away. So let's play an A7 chord. We played a D7. Let's play, sorry, A flat 7 chord. We played the D7. Let's play A flat 7. A flat, C, E flat, G flat. All right, and again, let's pay close attention to the 3rd and the 7th. That's what gives it its distinctive sound. All right, notice anything about those two notes. When we play the D7 chord, there's our 3rd and our 7th. When we play the A flat 7 chord, there's our 3rd and our 7th. Notice those are the exact same two notes. Here the 3rd is F sharp or G flat, and here the 7th is C. In the A flat chord, the 3rd is the C, and the 7th is G flat, which is also the same as F sharp. So 3rd and 7th of our D7 chord, 3rd and 7th of our A flat 7 chord, which is a tritone away from D. So that you might look at all that and say, okay, that's a lot of information, but what does that even mean? Well, we'll get to that in a minute when we talk about reharmonization. So we can use that property of tritones to do some really, really cool reharmonizing in the middle of our songs. So I want to start talking about that now. A phrase that you may hear from time to time is tritone substitution. Maybe you're familiar with that phrase, maybe you're not. What is tritone substitution? Well, it's a way that we can reharmonize our songs using tritones. So to understand that, first we need to talk a little bit about the circle of fifths. You may be familiar with circle of fifths. And that is just a common movement. So if you're in the key of C, I play a C chord. Usually C resolves to F, or you can play this F down here if you want to. Circle of fifths just means that my chords usually resolve down by a fifth. So I'm playing C now, and usually when you play a C chord, your next chord is going to be down a fifth. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, F. Whenever you play an F chord, usually your next chord is going to be down a fifth, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. F usually leads to B flat, so on and so forth. You can cycle through all the chords that way by just moving down, and I'm getting really low on the keyboard now. But that's the idea of circle of fifths. A lot of your movement, a lot of your chord progressions are based on the circle of fifths. So, for instance, I might play a C chord. Let me use my right hand here. C chord. A minor, and then a lot of times that A will lead to a D chord, so that's a fifth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A to D, 2, 3, 4, 5. So D, and then a lot of times that D chord will then resolve to a G. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then the G will resolve to C. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the C chord. So the whole progression. Notice how those fifths come up really frequently in that progression, and that's true for pretty much any progression in tonal harmony. So hymns and any song that you would encounter is going to have circle of fifths progressions a lot. Okay, what does tritones have to do with this? Well, you will recall that the tritone is one step shorter than a fifth. So, whereas moving a fifth would be here, moving a tritone would be here. You can use that to kind of substitute or to delay a motion. So, instead of going straight from C to F, I might play a C chord, some type of F sharp chord, you can do all different things with that F sharp chord. You can play around with it. You can just do a regular F sharp, F. You can do augmented. This. You can do F sharp 7, and then move down to the F. A lot of different things that you can do, but basically the idea is before moving your fifth, C to F, which is the common movement, you move first to some kind of F sharp chord, and then resolve down. All right? So let me give you an example, and if you were paying attention, or if you saw our video, the very first tidbits video I did, this is actually going to be what I showed you the first week. We did that transition chord from C to F. So here's my C chord. Here is my my F sharp, which is the tritone, and then the F chord there. And what I'm doing, let me show that again to review that progression. But what I'm doing is I'm playing C, and then I'm playing an F sharp. This would technically be an F sharp 9 with a flat 5. That's the full chord there. F sharp, A sharp, C, E, G sharp. And then I'm going to F from there. So what in the world is that fancy chord in the middle? I know there's a lot going on, but really all I want to get across today is the idea that I'm using an F sharp chord before I'm moving down to the F chord. You're kind of delaying, I call it delaying by half step. I would be going here, but instead I'm going to go to a half step above it first and then resolve down to the F chord. So again, there's different F sharp chords I can use there. Those are just ones I like to use. I just wanted to get that idea of tritone substitution across. So let me show you a simple one that you can use there, and it's the one that I just used. So here's C. Here's the F sharp chord that I like to use. F sharp, A sharp, C, and E. You'll notice this is an F sharp 7th chord. I'm just taking the 5th and I'm lowering it by a half step. And now I'm going to my F chord. That works in other keys as well. So let's say I'm playing G, G goes to C, right? So G, C, but instead of going straight to the C, I'm going to go to C sharp first. So what will I do? Well, I'll play a C sharp 7 chord, and then I'll take the 5th and I'll resolve it down by a half step. So C sharp, F, G, B. So full progression, G, my C sharp tritone chord, and my C. Technical name of that chord would be a 7th chord with a flat 5, but you can just call it the special tritone chord if you want to, or you can call it whatever you want to. But G, C sharp, then moving to C. All right, so you're using that in substitution. So let me now show you this in the context of an actual song, and it's going to be the same actually as the song I think I used to show you that C to F transition the first week, but The Love of God. So so here we go. We're on C. Now I'm going to move to F, but first I'm going to go to the F sharp chord. There's the F sharp chord. There's the F chord. So you see how I just kind of delayed the movement to F. So there's C, there's the F sharp chord, and again there all I'm doing is I'm spreading it out a little bit, but I'm just playing that chord that I showed you a minute ago. F sharp, A sharp, C, E, and then from there I'm moving back down to the F chord that is in the song there. All right? So again, it's kind of more of a delay than a substitution, but you are substituting. So let me talk a little bit about that. So why is it called tritone substitution? Well, if you think about it, I'm actually substituting. I'm substituting a normal 7th chord for the chord of tritone below it. So normally, if I wanted to go from C to F, I would use like a C7 chord or something like that. But instead of playing the C7, I'm playing the F sharp 7 with a flat 5, but it is an F sharp 7th chord. It's still got that 3rd and 7th. Remember, the 3rd and the 7th of the C7 chord, 3rd and the 7th of the F sharp chord are the same. We talked about that a minute ago. So again, I'm replacing a 7th chord, C7 chord, with an F sharp 7 chord. It's altered because of this, but it is still an F sharp 7, and then I'm moving down to the F. So again, the progression normally would be there's a C7 to F. Here's what I'm doing instead. Instead of playing that C7, I'm playing the F sharp 7, that altered 7, the F sharp, moving down to F. So you see how you're kind of substituting. You're substituting, instead of playing one chord or one 7th chord, you're playing a 7th chord based on a tritone below it. Instead of playing a C7, I'm moving that root of the chord down from C to F sharp, a tritone away, and I'm playing the F sharp 7 chord instead. I'm just kind of alterating it, but that's just to add color, that lowered 5th and the weird stuff that I'm doing with that chord. Okay, so let me show you one more thing actually that you can do with tritones before I close out with some announcements and play my final song for today. One more thing that I really like about tritones is you can actually use them to build another chord that sounds really, really cool and that I like to use. So let me show you that. The technical fancy name for the chord is a 7th chord with a lowered 5th and a lowered 9th. So you might see it as flat 5, flat 9, or flat 9, flat 5. That's a really complex name, and it might make you want to bang your head against the wall. So you don't have to think of it that way. I'll show you how I think of it. If I'm playing an E7 chord, so I've got E, I've got my 7. I use a lot of tenths. So this is a common voicing in your left hand for a 7th chord, is to play the 1, the 7, and the 10 up here, which is just the 3rd, an octave higher. So I'm taking the 3rd of my 7th, I'm dropping the 5th, I'm taking the 3rd, and I'm moving it up an octave. And even me with my gigantor hands can't reach that without rolling it. There are some tenths that I really struggle to reach, and that's one of them. So that's fine, you can roll it, but I will play that. In my left hand, I'm playing an E7 chord. In my right hand, though, instead of playing an E chord, I will play the chord that's a tritone above E. So what's a tritone above E? Well, here's the 4th, here's the 5th. The tritone is B flat. So while I'm playing an E7 in my left hand, I'm going to play a B flat chord. I'm inverting it, but there's a B flat chord. I'll usually invert it like this. You can play whatever inversion you want. I'll play that in my right hand while I'm playing the E7. So again, I've got two chords playing at the same time that are a tritone apart. And they have, because they're a tritone apart, like I said at the beginning of this video, they're as far apart from each other as you can possibly be. So they have like nothing to do with each other. They shouldn't sound good together, but they actually sound really good together in a jazz harmony type of way. So here's what that sounds like. E7 in my left hand, B flat chord in my right hand. Maybe that sounds yucky to you, but it sounds really pretty to me. Let me play it in context of a song to kind of show you how you can use that. Now I've got to think of a song that I might use that in. Let's see. Let's do Sweet Hour of Prayer. So I'm in the key of G here. I could go to an E minor chord there. That's what that would sound like. That's if I just went to a regular E minor chord. Or I could just go to an E7 chord. That would be an E7 chord. But let's use the chord that I just showed you. B flat in my right hand, E7 in my left. This is going to sound really, really tasty. And if you're not used to jazz harmony, you may want to cover your ears, because this is a really colorful one. That is the chord. I love the sound of that. It sounds really, really pretty. And again, it's really easy to build. All you have to do is do the 7th chord in your left hand, whatever a tritone above that is in your right hand. So I've got E7 here, I've got B flat chord playing up here. And then from there I can go to my the song, and I'm watching that, so I'm going to stop right now. So anyway, that's the idea. That's the progression, or that's the chord. Really, really pretty sounding. I mean, there's so much you can do with that. Roll it up the piano. Roll it up the piano. It sounds great. Again, all I'm doing, one more time here, is I'm playing in my left hand. I'm playing an E7 chord. Again, don't feel bad if you can't reach that stretch, because I can't either. But just rolling it, my E7 chord, and in my right hand, I'm playing the chord which is a tritone above E, so which is B flat. So I'm just playing a B flat chord there. And again, together, they sound like that. Oh, I love it. All right. that is it for today. Hopefully that was a help to you, give you some ideas on what you can do with Tritones to help reharmonize some of your music. Just a couple quick announcements, and then I'll close out with, I'll play you out today with a verse of a hymn. But I just want to let you know I'm really excited about some of the upcoming segments. So you may recall I did I started the Church Pianists of Note, pun intended, segment a couple Saturdays ago. I had an interview with my good friend Joe Miser, and he was able to answer some questions, and hopefully you read that. If you haven't, go on over to the blog, eichurchmusic.wordpress.com. That's eichurchmusic.wordpress.com. And take a look at that. Take a look at some of the other posts, some of the Church Piano Helps posts. But I've gotten in touch. I've actually had 3 different church pianists that I have a lot of respect for. Some of them for years I've been listening to. And I've already sent out to them, got their permission, and sent out some questionnaires for them to do segments. And so I won't tell you their names just yet, but I am really excited about you all getting the chance to hear from them, get to know them. So those will be coming up. I'm going to be doing that once a month. So that's going to be the first Saturday of every month that I'll be posting those interview segments, the Church Pianists of Note. Every other Saturday, as you know, is the Church Piano Helps blog. And so I'll be doing that again this Saturday. Next week, next Thursday, instead of the tidbits, I will be once again doing live hymn requests. I did this last month. I thought it went over really well. So I'm going to do the same thing again. So start letting me know this week. I'll post a reminder next week and start getting more requests. But if you already know a song that you want me to play next week, go ahead and comment or message the page or something. Let me know. And I will be doing Facebook Live video, playing through hymn requests next week. I'm going to try to do that on the last Thursday of every month. So that'll be a monthly thing as well. And then just want to let you know some of the other recent stuff I've been doing. Of course, the Monday morning melodies, I'm doing that every Monday. I'm putting out a new arrangement, or at least new to you, new video. And then also just recently started uploading a lot more to the YouTube channel. So Excellence in Church Music is the name of the YouTube channel. So go to YouTube, look for Excellence in Church Music, subscribe, and you'll be notified anytime I put. So I'm putting Monday Morning Melodies videos up there. I'm putting all the Thursday Tidbit videos on there, and I'm hopefully looking at putting some other content out there as well as I get more done. I might start doing some live question and answer sessions here pretty soon. So I'll keep you posted on that. But check us out on Facebook. Check us out on YouTube. Check out the blog, eichurchmusic.wordpress.com. I've got my arrangements, my book for sale there and for download on the website. So check that out. And that'll be it for today. So I'll be seeing you next Thursday playing hymn requests live. Thank you. I almost got away with not playing my closing song. I forgot. I'll play you out. For the Beauty of the Earth. That's what I picked for today. I had that in my head earlier today, so I'm going to play that for you. I'm in the key of E flat, if you want to play along at home. All right, that's it for today, folks. I will see you next Thursday. Thanks for watching.